Hey guys, Antonio here again with some more of the Law of Success. Today we're going to talk about Lesson 3, which is self-confidence. And who doesn't need any more self-confidence? So, this is a very important chapter. The first thing that they talk about saying here is that skepticism is a deadly enemy of self-confidence and progress just in general in life, because when you start being skeptical about things, you start thinking of all the negatives or what could go wrong, and that usually makes you focus on the bad parts, which if you focus on the good parts, you can usually accomplish a lot of those good parts. So watch the way you focus and make sure that it's trying to stay more positive. And the first way it talks about developing self-confidence is by eliminating all your fears. And the way you eliminate your fears is by going and doing them. I like the way they talk about fear here, so I'm going to read it. It says, you need to eliminate the demon called fear, which sits upon a man's shoulders and whispers into his ear, "You can't do it. You are afraid to try. You are afraid of public opinion. You are afraid you will fail, and you are afraid you do not have the ability." How true is that? How many times have you been afraid to do something, and that's exactly what your mind did? It sat right here and was like, you're not doing this. You're not confident enough. And if you're a fan of Napoleon Hill, you know he has 6 basic fears that he talks about. The fear of old age, the fear of death, the fear of loss of love, fear of ill health, the fear of poverty, and sorry, I'm forgetting the last one. He talks about them a little bit here and there. He doesn't go into them that in depth, but read Think and Grow Rich for the in depth of the ghosts, the fears that he talks about. So to move on from that is the only way you can develop self-confidence is if you are constantly trying to use it. You need to be using it in order to develop it. It's a contradicting thing where people think they can do something that's not really out of their comfort zone to get the self-confidence, but the only way you're going to do it is by stepping outside and actually going to do it. And don't get me wrong, I fall into this problem a lot of times too myself. It's hard to overcome yourself, but when you become more aware and start noticing these things as it's happening, almost having this observing like third person, seeing what's going on in here, then it's so much easier for you to start catching yourself and be like, I'm not falling in this trap anymore. You need to realize that nothing can bring you success by yourself. Don't blame the government. Don't blame your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your boss, whoever it is. Don't blame them. It's up to you. You're given these circumstances, find a way around it. And that's how you build the self-confidence, is through these actions. You need to believe deep down that success is solely up to you. And then from there, start acting right away, aggressively on what you need to do. Only acting will be able to push away all the negative possibilities that could come out. It says to have the habit of self-confidence, it will grow out of your environment. So you need to watch out what your family says to you, your friends say to you, what you're watching on TV, what you're watching on YouTube. Hopefully it's more content like this, stuff that'll make you believe in a more positive light, stuff that keeps you growing. But if there's stuff that are negative towards you and make you feel sad or depressed, that is not keeping you from growing. That's not making you grow. So you need to make sure that you're constantly growing. So in order to keep having that self-confidence, watch out for your environment as well. Wherever you have these doubts and fears, that's where you're never going to get success until you overcome them. So you need to really start becoming more aware of the fears that are happening to you. A lot of people have this idea that self-confidence is sometimes you're being like a cocky prick or an asshole, and that's really not what self-confidence is. There's a difference, and I'm going to go ahead and mention it here. Self-confidence is based upon sound knowledge of what you know and what you can do. And egotism which is the negative side here, which is only based on what you wish you could, which you knew or what you could do. So someone who says they know everything, egotistical. They really do not know everything. No one knows everything. I barely know anything. There's so much knowledge in the world. No one can know anything. Even if you read a book every single day of your life, yeah, you'll be smarter than other people, but you still will not know everything. So don't know what you know and base your actions off of that. And know that you also don't know a lot. And someone who's self-confident and not egotistical doesn't really talk about what they do. They prove it with their actions. So this kind of goes back to what Lincoln said in Lincoln on Leadership, is being able to prove things to your actions rather than just talking about it, because people truly won't believe it until then. So to wrap up here, you need to be eliminating your fears. That's a key part here. You need to watch out for your environment, making sure that your environment is helping your confidence and not detracting from it. Making sure to believe that nothing can bring you success except yourself. And the only way to add up behind that belief is by keep acting. And that'll give you momentum and keep moving forward. And that's how the self-confidence just keeps growing and growing and growing. So if you enjoyed today's video, I highly suggest you buy a copy of The Law of Success. There's actually an affirmation that I've been reading in this book from this chapter itself on how to build self-confidence, because, I mean, personally, everyone could use a little more self-confidence, except those who are egotistical. So there's a link in the description for this book. If you like this book, if there's anyone that needs help with self-confidence, send them this video. You know, it might help a friend one day. And click the subscribe button down low to follow along in this book and get more laws of success, and follow along with any other books that I end up doing. Hope you have a great day, guys.